Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be going over a brand new palette from a good friend of mine. This was sent to me in PR, while also collaborating with my best friend Kelsee Briana Jai, also known as Kelsee Briana Jai, but girl is bae, so it is what it is. We're both going to be doing two different looks with the turn around the BK Beauty True Beauty palette. Initially, we had kind of mapped everything out. We were like, okay, we're going to use this row and part of this row for one look, and then another row for another, and I messed it up. I was like, I just want to go all over the palette. And the funny thing is, it was my idea to be like, oh, let's break it up. And then I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So if she mentions that, it was my fault. It was definitely my fault. It was all me. Anywho, I'm going to be showing you guys two different looks. Kelsee's going to be showing you guys two different looks, so make sure that you run over there and check them out. And I'm also going to be showing you guys some swatches. I'm going to give you guys some information, and my thoughts will be after the demos. All right, let's get into this True Beauty. Lisa J here on YouTube is the creator behind the brand and this palette. You guys have seen me talk about and use a ton of BK Beauty brushes, and now she has gone from brushes to this palette, and her aesthetic is definitely softer, and that is what this palette is. It is a soft take on natural colors with a little bit of a pop in here. So you do have a large mirror on the inside. It is cardboard, but it kind of shocked me because it has a little bit of weight to it. I don't know, I just, when you have a cardboard palette, you don't usually expect to have the weight. And this one has it. I like the way it feels in my hand. On the inside, you have 12 shades. Some of these are mattes and then the others are satins. They're kind of like a soft shimmer, but it's like in between a satin and a shimmer, but they're very, very soft. The entire palette is definitely on the softer side. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the swatches. This gorgeous palette features 12 shades, balanced with 6 matte and 6 shimmer shades. That is a tongue twister. The palette was created to be an everyday essential palette offering neutrals with a little pop of color. That pop of color is the shade Kate. The shades in this palette were created to complement every skin tone as well as every skin texture. You're not going to find anything in here that is going to emphasize texture on the lids or anything like that. It's definitely a softer, more subtle palette. The shimmers offer a soft, creamy texture, and they can be worn sheer or built up and layered. The palette retails for $45, and you can find it on the BK Beauty website. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the first look I did, and then afterwards we'll get into this one. With a BK Beauty 202, I'm first gonna go in with the shade Grace. I'm taking this and applying it on the outer corner. I feel like I'm too far away from my mirror. I can't see, which, my vision is not the best anyway, but that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna build this shade up. This is applying and blending out very nicely. It is soft, but I'm not mad at it. I only get mad at a soft shadow when they blend together and get muddy, or if they fade throughout the day. I don't like that. I like this color. And I also like, this is so silly, but I can pronounce all the names in this palette. And you know what? That just means something to me. I just gotta say it. Don't want to try and force this to be darker than what it is intended, but I do want to build it up a little bit. And I also want to go in on the opposite side with a natural hair brush. Now, the BK Beauty brushes, I love them. They are some of my favorite synthetic brushes, but I want to see if there's a difference between going in with a synthetic brush versus a natural hair brush. And just for the record, I do not tap off my brush and I do not set my primer. Today, I literally forgot what primer I'm using. Oh, no, it is the Soft Ochre Paint Pot. I was like, was it Mario, Anastasia, or the paint pot? On the opposite eye, I'm taking an EO2 RL from Bristles Beauty. This is a natural hair brush. feel like that's more pigmented. Or it's showing more pigment because of the I think that, yeah, it might be in my head, but I feel like that's a little bit deeper. Here's one application with the Bristles Beauty brush. Now I'm going back in. It's definitely darker to me. You guys let me know if you can tell that. But I am going to take this same brush and I am going to add more to this side. I'm going back in with the BK Beauty 202, and now I'm taking the shade Beauty. You know, I just might have a certain fondness for this shade. It might have something to do with the name. Alright, that is one application. I'm going back in, just kind of deepening. I'm telling you guys, I'm sleepy. I'm so sleepy. Just deepening up the outer corner, bringing it into the crease. Bristles Beauty EO3DM. I'm going to take the shade Dream. I am going to place this on the outer corner. Dust that away. Just taking my time, and I'm not picking up any more product. I'm just kind of blending it around right where I want it into the crease. Just kind of blending up, just adding definition before I go in with the next shade. BK Beauty 203 in the shade Kate. I'm going to pop this all over my lid. This is giving me a soft, like, sheen, but it's not metallic, which is not supposed to be. It's supposed to be softer. This is not going to add texture or anything to your eyes. It's a really, and even the color, it's soft. It's not too, like, in your face. It's a little deeper right around where I have the last shade. What color was that? Dream. Right around where Dream is. It's a little bit deeper, but that's because you can kind of see through this shade a little bit. I'm going to use a REPHR 21 on this side, but I really just don't anticipate it being much different. BK Beauty 204, and I'm going back in with the shade Beauty. I want to run this right along the lower lash line. I'm going to try not to drag this down as far as I usually like to do. I am building it up just a little bit though. I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to go in with the shade Dream, and I'm going to use it wet. And I want to get right up against, ooh, it's much darker wet. Oh, I'm going to have to move some of this over here. So, yeah, these are, or at least this shade, definitely more pigmented if you use it wet. I'm going to have to soften this up a little bit. And blend it all the way corner to corner, and then I'm going to soften it up. BK Beauty 207, going in with Beauty again. And I'm just dragging this right along the underside of the last shade. BK Beauty 206 and Brooklyn. Going to softly highlight the brow arch. And that will complete this look. However, I kind of want to see what will happen with the purple on the lid if I went in and used it wet, just, you know, out of curiosity. So I'm taking Kate wet on a BK Beauty 203, and I am going to start just kind of tapping this on the lid. It's nice to see that even with softer shades like this, you can still get them wet and have that opacity if you wanted it. Liner and mascara. Moving on to the second look, I'm taking Kind Vibes on a Bristles Beauty EO2 RL. As you can see, I have already started this eye. I had a phone call and I don't know if it's just me, but I just can't sit still to save my life. And so I decided that I was going to start the look and then I was going to finish it, but I still can't decide which shimmer I want to use. which leave it to me. And I also went ahead and I lined the inner rim of my eye with Milk Boss liner, and then I also went on the top portion as thin as I could with the Tom Ford defining pen, because I wanted to have the definition, but I want to kind of put the shadow on top. So that's why I did that. And I'm just kind of, I'm going to build this up a little bit. I found this shade to work pretty well on this eye. And it built up nicely, it blended out nicely. Now I just got to match it. That's one thing. If you do one eye, or at least me, my eyes are two different shapes. And if I do one eye and then the other, sometimes it can go a little south, but we're hoping for the best today. Anywho, yeah, I'm just smoking out this color, kind of going this way with it. I'm bringing it a little bit inward, but mainly I want it to be just kind of smoky on this outer corner. And I tend to like to bring my shadows up higher, and that's because I have a lot of space from my crease to my brow. If you don't want to, you absolutely do not have to. It's just for my eye shape. It's something that I personally like. But yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to. I just realized I had this mirror blocking my light. MAC 221 in the shade Queen. I'm going to add a little bit of depth to this outer corner, outer lid area, into the crease, and bringing it up. Again, I'm smoking it out a little bit. Still trying to decide which shimmer I want to use, because I don't know. All right, okay, this I need to decide what color I want to put on my lid. Okay, before I do that, before I make up my mind, I'm going to use Beam, and I'm going to take this right along the brow arch. Wayne Goss number 5, and again going in with Kind Vibes. I'm taking this and I'm running it right along the lower lash line. Same brush and a little bit of the shade Queen. I'm going to take that and go just a little closer to the lower lashes. I'm going to take Glow on a BK Beauty 206. And I am just going to buff this onto the lid. Get a little bit of fallout, no big deal. I'm going to leave this look softer. So yesterday I zhuzhed it up a little bit with some Fix Plus, but today I am going to leave it a little softer. I'm going to take it and just kind of softly blend right. So you see there's no color right here. So I'm going to take and just softly blend the excess right on up to kind of connect right where the matte shades start. MAC 242 and Ambition, placing this on the inner corner, kind of overlapping the lash shade just a little bit and blending it in. Lastly, I'm going to go in with Dream on a Wayne Goss number 5, and I'm using this just slightly dampened. I'm going to create just a little angled liner to add a little bit of depth to the outer corner. Mascara to finish off the look. For my thoughts. Now, I'm going to mention this again. I know I mentioned it at the beginning, but I just got to say it again because it's definitely a huge pro to this palette. At least for me, a little bit of weight goes a long way. I like the weighted feel of the palette. I like that it feels a little bit more luxurious and a little bit more substantial. It's just one of my things. It's something that I truly enjoy. And I like that she kept the same color scheme as she has with her brushes. So you see the maroon, and you can see that along the edges of the palette as well as on the backdrop of the shadows. You've got the maroon and then this gorgeous classic beige, the rose gold lettering, and then on the back you have all the shade names as well as on the inside. I don't think I mentioned that at the beginning. All of the shades are listed right underneath each of the shadows. That's a huge help to me. This is not something that's going to be for everyone, which nothing truly is. This palette is for somebody who wants softer looks, softer shimmers, does not want to add texture to the eyes. This is not something that I'm going to recommend to anybody who wants a ton of pigmentation, a ton of shine. Even though I was able to build these up, the shimmers, I was also able to use them wet. I still wouldn't suggest this to somebody who wants a ton of shine and sparkle or anything like that. This is truly a softer palette. We all know that your girl likes the drama, I like the shine, I like the pigmentation, but I do appreciate softer shadows. Case in point, this one right here. This palette, I couldn't stand it whenever I got this. This is one of the first palettes that I had gotten that was softer, and I was like, no, no, no. And yeah. One of my favorite palettes that I have. And the thing is that it doesn't get muddy. It doesn't get muddy, it doesn't fade, and it's beautiful, but it's softer. And that's the case with this palette. I had zero issues with fading, and I had zero issues with anything muddying together. A lot of the times with palettes that I've used or single shadows, when they are softer, a lot of them tend to muddy together or they will get patchy. Oh my gosh, I can't stand that either. Like it won't cling to this outer corner. That's one of the biggest spots is this right here. A lot of the times if it's just not a good quality shadow, it will end up just not adhering. I didn't have any of those issues with this palette. I wore my eyeshadow look yesterday all day long. I had zero issues, zero patchiness, and zero muddying together. I just didn't have the issues that I tend to have with other softer formulas. So if you are into soft shadows, this is going to be a hit with you. Just keep your preferences in mind when you're deciding whether or not the True Beauty is for you. And also, keep your brush choices in mind. Synthetic hair brushes are going to make this just a little bit softer, and then natural hair, especially goat, is going to make it just a little bit more pigmented. So brush choice definitely helps out in that situation. And then obviously you guys saw me use the shimmers wet, and I was able to build on that. And I gotta tell you, if you use them dry, there's like no texture at all. If you use them wet, there's going to be a little bit because it's going to be more intense. I really love that Lisa stuck with her vision for this palette and what I feel like the whole brand represents. It's just something softer and something that's more of a natural beauty. That is how I would describe this palette, as a natural, true beauty. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. Let me know what you guys think about the palette, about the looks, and make sure that you check out Kelsee Briana Jai. You gotta add a little sass to it. And also check out Lisa's channel as well. I will have both of them linked down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the looks. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.